It's now 7:04. I'm going to call to order the January meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals. And I'm going to start by having the secretary read the notice, and then we'll take roll call.
Oh, sorry. Town of Farmington Zoning Board of Appeals notice is hereby given that the Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a hybrid in-person and online public hearing Tuesday, January 21st, 2025 at 7 p.m. in the Town Hall Council Chambers on the following application. Giuliano's Pools application for variance to locate pool and other than a required yard at 1 Alcott Way, R80 zone. Interested parties are encouraged to participate in this online public hearing. The link to the meeting can be found on the Town of Farmington's website. A copy of this proposal is available online or by calling the planning department at Farmington Town Hall at 860-675-2325, dated at Farmington, Connecticut, January 3rd, 2025. Farmington Zoning Board of Appeals, John Schoen, Chairman.
Right. The first order of business today is the public hearing of application of Giuliano's Pools for a variance to locate pool in other than required yard at 1 Alcott Way, R80 zone. And I note that there is nobody present in the common area to present that application, although I'm going to ask Mr. Daigle to explain why the applicant is not present. I believe the notice made it clear that we, at the very least, were preferring that the applicant be present, unless to the extent practical, and there's an asterisk after that, but it's I don't see anyone here on behalf of the applicant, although I see there is someone online from Giuliano's Pool. So before I turn it over to that individual, I'm going to ask Mr. Daigle if he could at least let us know what the status is and why there is no one present.
Mr. Chairman, something came up with the applicant of a personal nature, and they're no longer to make it to the meeting this evening. Town does not get into details of what specifically those reasons are.
All right. So is the applicant then asking for a postponement until the next meeting?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Well, I'm going to open it up to the discussion of the board before we vote on whether we should proceed or not. I'm just going to ask if anybody, let's at least have the roll call for the board. Roll call to who's present.
Commissioner Subramanian,
Present.
Commissioner Master Batista,
Here.
Commissioner De Santoro,
Here.
Commissioner Walsh,
Here.
Commissioner Gemsky,
Here.
Commissioner Grady Benson,
Here.
Commissioner Cloud,
Here.
Commissioner Callahan,
Here.
and Chairman Schoenhorn.
Here. All right. I guess I'm open to suggestions on how to proceed. I thought we were fairly clear that for an application to be considered, we would hear from a member from the applicant in person, so we could ask appropriate questions and we could go over documents with them. While here, the fact that this is what, last minute, the person, I mean, when did you get notice, Mr. Daigle, that the applicant was not going to appear?
When I called the applicant this morning to see if they would be in person this evening, Mr. Chairman,
And what did that person say at that time?
that they would be calling in online.
All right, did, well, I'll leave it up to, discussion before we proceed. Does anyone have any comment that they want to make about this circumstance?
How about a question?
Of course.
Is there anything on the agenda for next month?
I don't know at this time.
But nothing yet.
Nothing's been submitted. The deadline's next week.
That was my question.
My question, have we ever had an incident like this before? And how did we handle it?
Well, my recollection, and I've been on the board for many years, is that if an applicant cannot be present, then we would, with permission, we would vote to table the matter and continue it to the next month's meeting. Now, that hasn't happened since the COVID. Yeah, it was pre-COVID. So we can, as I understand it, proceed under these circumstances, but my concern is that without the applicant's presence, there are questions that may be asked that could need to have an explanation that can't be done by, you're saying by telephone or by video? I do not see the applicant. I see a,
The applicant's right
representative.
there on the bottom.
Isn't that someone from the pool company?
Yes, the applicant.
Oh, it was the applicant. All right. But was my understanding that was the pool company presenting or was the,
The pool company is the applicant, so they're presenting.
well, I'll leave it up to what the board wants to do. And how the board wants to proceed, that is.
You have a question?
If the pool company is the applicant and the applicant is online, why wouldn't we proceed?
Well, because the notice says that is the preference of the zoning board of appeals that participation be in person to the extent practical. And at least I haven't heard any reason why practically a pool company could not send a representative to appear before this board. That's my only comment. We can proceed or we can continue the matter. And I said, I'm just bringing that to everyone's attention so we can decide whether you think we can proceed on this matter without having the applicant or someone from the company be present, or should we, and therefore we proceed, or should we continue the matter? And
Am I wrong in saying that nowhere in this explanation is there a requirement for the applicant to be in person?
Yeah, if I could add something, could I?
yes,
Okay, I agree with Liz. I think even when I was reading the agenda, I think it said preference, and it's not necessarily a requirement. So going on the line that it's preference and the applicant is clearly here online, I'm in full support of hearing this application tonight.
anyone else want to, I mean, ultimately I can just say we can proceed, but I'm asking what people would think that the process should be and how we should proceed before
I'll raise another question. Given the discussion that's taken place so far, should we determine whether the applicant has a preference as to whether to proceed via Zoom or or table it and proceed next month, given the comments of some of the members of the commission?
I think that's a very good idea. And so I'm going to ask at this point, the applicant or the representative of the company to maybe just first identify herself and then perhaps be able to answer the question that Commissioner Carey just raised. Callahan, I mean.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, my name is Daniela Vassar. I'm the permitting coordinator for Giuliano's Pools. I apologize that I'm not able to be there in person. I live like on the border of Massachusetts. And so to not have to drive all the way home after a 7 o'clock meeting, I didn't see a statement that it was mandatory to be there in person. So I apologize, but I am prepared to present if you're willing to hear. The homeowner was supposed to be there in person tonight also, and just sent me a message that they weren't going to be able to make it. So they've waited a long time with the cutoff for the deadline, and they would prefer, and I would prefer, if we could proceed, if that's okay.
Over here. There you go.
All right. Is it the consensus then that we should proceed?
Yes.
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 All right. So then, based on the consensus of the members, we will proceed with the applicant and the homeowner absent, or at least the homeowner absent altogether and the pool company present remotely. Although I will now state for the record that this is precisely why there needs to be clarification. I think we make important decisions for this town. This is not something where people can literally phone it in so that they don't have to drive a few miles. We all came out on a very cold and somewhat icy night to be here, and it would seem to me that a homeowner and a company building a swimming pool that's asking us to basically waive to vary and waive our zoning regulations would have the courtesy to appear in person. Having said that, however, based on the consensus of the members of this board, we will hear from the applicant. And in that case, I would ask the applicant to state her name, her address for the record, and her representative capacity, please.
Thank you. My name is Danielle Lavasser. I'm the permitting coordinator for Giuliano's Pools at 321 Talcaville Road in Vernon. We are seeking a variance for Article 4, Section 2C to locate a swimming pool outside of the required yards for a corner lot. The regulation states that the pool needs to be behind the rear of the home as measured from the longest wall with respect to both streets, which presents a hardship for us because the septic system is smack dab in the center of the yard. So we tried to move it as close to that system as feasible. There is still a little bit of room, but we thought that that would pose an issue with being too close to the deck. And so we are hoping to be granted a variance to allow the homeowner to place the pool in an area that, is most accessible and, works with their septic system and the plumbing and all of that. Outside of the requirement for a corner lot, it does meet the setbacks for a side and rear setback for the R80 zone.
Anything else before I turn it over to the commissioners for questions?
That's all from me. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Sure. Commissioner Subramanian?
No
Any
question.
questions? Commissioner Master Batista?
No questions at this time.
Commissioner Des Santoro?
Yes, I have a question. So, the house was just constructed in 2019. So it's a pretty new house.
Yes.
So was the pool considered at that time?
No, it was not. Their biggest concern at that time was the placement of the septic system in regards to the conservation easement and the zoning regulations on being on the corner lot. They were basically told that this is where your septic needs to be. And so the pool was not a thought at that time. It was more so just meeting the codes and meeting each department's setback regulations.
Thank you.
Commissioner Walsh?
No questions at this time.
Commissioner Grady Benson?
No questions at this time.
Commissioner Jemski?
No questions.
Commissioner Cloud?
No, but I request to see this in context to the larger view of it, so I can orient myself.
What are you looking for,
I'm
Chris?
confused. I'm a little confused at what we're
All right, let me,
looking at here.
yeah, so here's Olcott Way. It's a private road. Here's Mountain Spring Road. This area in green is the conservation easement off of Mountain Spring Road. It's just over 14,000 square feet. And the house is located right here. I'm just doing that for context, and then I'll zoom in. So this blue square right here is the proposed pool. The red back here is the leaching field. These red lines are the septic lines. And then this red box right here is the septic tank. And then this area, it's a little harder to see. Let me do a nice orange. So this area is the allowed area for pool per the regulations. Does that help orient or
Yeah, it does.
All right.
Thank you.
no problem?
Any other questions? Commissioner Cloud,
No other question.
Commissioner Callahan.
So am I correct in understanding that half of the pool, and this could be a question either to Mr. Daigle or to the applicant, that approximately half of the planned pool is within the rear yard such that a variance wouldn't be necessary, but then half is out?
Correct. We'll say half
It's got to be.
half to
the
3/8.
Pool has to be how far from the septic tank?
So pools
25?
need to be 25 feet from the septic tank, excuse me, septic tank and leaching fields. And without engineered soil studies, the pool needs to be about 10 feet from the minimum 10 feet from the foundation.
Okay, thank you. No,
And then Commissioner Callahan, this orange line right here is where that dividing line is on the pool.
That's what I
the allowed
thought.
area.
Thank you.
And I just have a couple of questions to clarify. So when I went out and did a site inspection, so the house is, that whole Olcott Way is kind of leveled out with fairly new houses. And then if you go to the, I don't know, the south side here, to the left of this image we see on the screen here, the house on, is the next house down is that's on Mountain Spring Road, correct? Seems to have a gate and a
Yes,
wall.
yes.
And who is the listed owner of that property? Because if I looked at the application, it looked like the address was in Arizona.
Yes, if it's, hold on one second. Might be this one. That's Mountain Spring. That's Farmington, so it must be the trust. Sorry, Mr. Chair, one with the wall? Could be-
One with the wall, that's Mark Hatton's house.
Well, the Winkies have the house up
The
on
Winkies
Mountain
have,
Spring.
right,
Yeah.
right at the very bottom.
So is that number 51? Are we talking about? Because I also see lot 2
Yeah.
has a long, narrow, I guess, a driveway entrance, if that's what.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I can see what you're talking. I just pulled up the
Yeah, the-
application. It's the home across the street. It's a bank. The house is in foreclosure. It's 58 Mountain Spring, which is across the street, is US Bank National Trust Association, and their mailing address is Arizona.
Oh, okay, Scottsdale, Arizona. All right. So
Yeah, the maps turn, so maybe that was throwing
So-
you off.
So the property that's listed on this aerial map is lot 2. Is that an undeveloped, that has a house on it? Where does that access the road?
St. Andrews Drive, which is a private road off of Waterville Road,
And,
just past the country club.
oh, I see. And has there been any communication from that homeowner that has that property at St. Andrews?
No.
Okay. And the conservation easement that's there, and I'm sorry, your name again is what? I can't see it from here. Danielle, something?
Danielle, yes.
Lavasser?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. The conservation easement, I noticed there are a number of trees. They're not all great trees, but there seems to be a sort of a wooded area there. Is any of the tree cover, even a little past where the easement is going to be removed, in order to put the swimming pool where you want to put it?
No, nothing in that area would be touched, and the homeowner has even acknowledged that he's willing to put more trees along that easement so that there's more privacy to Mountain Spring Road.
And the hand-drawn curved line that looks originally I thought was maybe some kind of a curtain drain there, shaped like a C. Is that where the fence is going to go? What is that?
Hold on one second, Mr. Chairman.
So
Right,
that is the yard slopes. So that's how the drainage, the grading, that's what the construction team has proposed.
So the drainage is going to run in which, I know that the yard slopes downwards towards that little narrow piece of land of the owner
Yeah.
on St. Andrews, but that, is that going to be some kind of drainage? Which direction are you proposing that the drainage lead towards towards Mountain Spring Road or towards the septic system?
So they're just proposing that the contour lines, how they see how what's currently there like runs through the pool. They just want to kind of flatten that area out a little bit more and then have it slope off towards the leaching fields a little bit, with respect to like obviously that there's leach fields there with water runoff and everything. But it'll go towards the back corner, towards the back part of the lot. Yeah.
Well, the back part of the lot closest to Mountain Spring Road or the back part of the lot towards that other property that is on from St. Andrews?
Towards that
Road or
other
ave-
property on St. Andrews.
All right. And it's not going to increase any kind of water drainage onto that property from this reconfiguration of the contours?
No, it will not.
All right, thank you. I don't have any other questions. Does anyone else want to follow up with anything and ask another question?
I just want to just get some clarity around the trees. So you mentioned that trees wouldn't be removed near the conservation easement, but are there any trees in the area of the proposed pool that are going to be removed?
Commissioner Grady Benson.
Yeah, Mr.
Right.
Dago, could you show us,
Yep.
there's some photographs that were provided to
Yeah, and
us. I
And I've
think
got
I know
this
the answer, but
Yeah, and I've got
showing those
this
pictures might.
aerial photo as well. So this kind of brown area, and this is in August. So obviously the green is the lawn, the brown is the conservation easement. So the pool's in this area, so there's no trees there's no
Okay.
trees in that.
Thank
section.
you. Thanks, Garrett.
Any other questions about anybody? All right. Is there anyone, I know the answer to this question, but is there anyone present or online who wishes to speak in favor of the application?
Mr. Chairman, just really quick before I do the hand raise call, I did get an email in support of the application. So I'll just do that first. It's from Pat Masozi. They did not give an address. Dear Farmington Town Board, I am in support of the application to add a pool in the side yard at 1 Olcott Way. Mountain Spring Road is a scenic road, and the proposed pool, fence, and any additional accessories will be visible from the road, especially in the winter. I suggest that you vote to approve this only upon installation of additional screening trees. It is very important that there is also a condition that the maintenance of arborvitae or similar screening trees is kept forever with this property on the deed. This would help ensure that the visual impact of the project remains minimal while allowing the property owners to do what they want. I also try my best to attend the meeting at Town Hall. Pat Masozi.
And we don't have an address for this Pat Mazzozi, correct?
No, I think they said they were going to try and call in, but I don't see their name. That doesn't mean they didn't call in. But if anyone from the public has called in and would like to speak, please use the raise hand function on Zoom. Again, if anyone from the public has called in and would like to speak for or against this application, please use the raise hand function in Zoom. Mr. Chairman, there are no hands raised.
All right, and that's for or against, correct? Or
Correct.
neutral or
Yeah, for
offering
or against
suggestions? Okay.
anything.
All right. Is there anything, Ms. Lavasier, that you wish to conclude with, or or should I just conclude the hearing? Anything you want to add?
No, not at this time. Thank you for allowing me to present remotely. I appreciate it.
All right. So at this time, I'm going to close the hearing, and I'll ask for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the application of Giuliano's Pools for a variance to locate a pool in other than the required yard at 1 Alcott Way, R80 zone.
There's a motion by Commissioner Callahan. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Cloud seconds. All right, discussion. I don't think we need to go in any specific order. I'll just open it up. Maybe because Commissioner Subramanian is remote, if she has any comments, she should go first, and then we'll just open it up to anyone who wants to speak here.
Yeah, sure. I think, especially considering the public testimony that we got and the fact that the owner is also able to, but very willing to put up trees to help with the public appearance aspect of it. And from what I'm hearing, the primary reason that the pool, needs a variance is because of septic systems. So I'm leaning towards, being in favor of this application.
All right, so instead of going, just anyone, just make a note.
Well, I was gonna
Go.
say, do we need to amend the motion to include
Yes.
the planting of the
Yeah.
trees based on the request from
If
the
somebody wants
neighbor?
to add that, yes, the motion needs to be amended.
Do you
So I would-
consider that a friendly amendment?
Yes.
Okay,
I
then
would
we don't
move-
have to. I learned that under Robert's Rules of Order, we don't have to have a vote on the amendment if you accept that as a
I
friendly
accept the
amendment.
amendment.
All right,
But
and Commissioner Glau, do you still second it?
Yes.
Okay.
do we need to be specific about what those plantings look like?
Well, the problem is we've closed the hearing, so we can't ask for assistance at this point. So, and so let me just say this, for those who did do a site inspection, there are trees which in the winter, you know, can see right through them. It's not like that conservation area is overgrown like a woods. There are some trees, there's some underbrush, but it doesn't really hide the area in question if you're coming down Mountain Spring Road from Talcott, that direction from Talcott
Right, towards Route 4.
towards, no, if you're coming down Mountain Spring Road
Right.
towards Route 4.
Correct.
Yeah. And so I don't know without more specificity how many trees would be necessary, since when you come down Mountain Spring Road, you're somewhat higher, so you can see into this yard when there's no trees, when there's no leaves on the tree. So, you know, somebody is suggesting that. I don't personally know if it's absolutely necessary, so I would say we don't have to be, in my view, we wouldn't have to be that specific, other than there should be some arborvitae planting in consultation with the town, which would be the way to go, rather than say there have to be X number or a certain height. Sometimes when we have these hearings, we want a certain number and we want them at least a certain height, like when we did that solar panel because of how close it was to the neighbor's house. But I would say that, you know, based on the fact that there's a lot of shade from those trees, because they're mature
Mm.
trees, that's my
And
personal view.
there's going to be a fence as well, so.
Right,
Mr.
but we don't know if the fence is going to be an iron, you know, like a chain link or a stockade or whatever. It may not be,
Sufficient to hide it.
it may not hide the pool is the point, right?
Mr. Chairman, this is just to avoid specifics, just say evergreen instead of arborvitae.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's all.
All right,
Which I think I normally ask that if you make that request, that's what you say, evergreens instead of arborvitae.
all right. Evergreen. Does anyone else wish to say anything? All right, then let's call a vote, and I'll have Mr. Daigle do the roll call.
All right. Commissioner Callahan,
Aye.
Commissioner Cloud,
Aye.
Commissioner Walsh,
Aye.
Commissioner Grady Benson,
Aye.
Commissioner Gemske,
Yes.
and Chairman Shohorn.
I'm going to abstain.
All right, there are 5 ayes. The variance is approved.
All right, so I assume you, Ms. Lavasser, know how to work with the town to get the matter resolved, and hopefully the homeowner will be pleased with your work.
Of
All
course.
right,
Thank
so
you very
moving on,
much.
Neil. You're quite welcome. So the only other matter on tonight's agenda is the minutes from December 16th, 2024. Everyone has received those minutes, and I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to accept the minutes from our past meeting,
December 16th, 2024.
2024.
Is there a second? All in favor? All opposed? All right, minutes are approved. Before we adjourn, I'm just going to note, I had a conversation today. I received a call from the town land use attorney, Robert DiCrescenzo, about the issue about how we conduct meetings and when people should or should not be appearing remotely, and how that would work both with state law, the Freedom of Information Act, and what is, to make this this experience as amenable and helpful to the public as possible. He indicated to me that he's going to write up something and present it to the board at some point, and so maybe we'll have some clarification on how we address these matters. And I'll just state for the record, I've been concerned by the dealing with the applicants being remote, not being able to point to specific things, not necessarily having those, the people who know about the plan be able to describe something, or even be able to, if you ask a question like how many feet something is, and they can't see it because they're looking at a computer screen where it's too small for them to even state for the record. So we're not deciding anything on this today, but I just wanted to bring it to everyone's attention that for the next meeting, we might have some clarification from the town attorney, land use attorney on that matter. And I know he's been in touch with other planning department officials, including Ms. Rutherford. So, okay. That being said, right now I understand there are no applications yet.
No, so that's my next question for the commission. At the November meeting, the homeowners for 100 Red Oak Hill came in. They were originally going to demolish the existing home and build a new home. They needed variance because of the septic system. Fortunately, they have had to change their plans. So I don't have an updated survey. I have updated house plans. So at this point, they're looking to keep the remaining front wall of the house, and I'll do it here so it's a little clearer. So this front wall of the house will remain. There's a covered porch here that they'll enclose. And then they're looking to add 5 feet to the front of the existing garage to make it an actual garage. It used to be like a carriage house type deal. I think it's only 18 feet deep, so it doesn't fit a car anymore. So they revised their plans to add 2 garage doors there while bumping out the front wall 5 feet. I told the homeowners I would ask. I'm assuming this will require a new application with the ZBA. You can all just say, nod your heads, yes or no. And then I'm going to ask the same question that I did in October of whether you would like it as a variance application or a special exception for expansion of a non-conforming building. Either way, there's a case to be made. So it's what the board's feeling is on what, or we do it both as we did with the last one in November.
Well, let me ask you this question. Is this new proposal, does it appear to increase the amount of non-conforming space? In other words, beyond what we had allowed last time? Does it increase the non-conforming use portion?
In the total area, no. So this is where it gets fuzzy.
Right.
So you approved the variance as presented for a reduction from 40 feet to 18 feet, which is this bump out off the front of the house. So I know it's harder to see. So here's the existing house. Oh, wait, I don't have to do that. I'm sorry. Worked up site plan. So again, this is the area in the front yard setback. The existing, geez, the existing area was 1,081 square feet. The proposed home that was approved was 1,230. So if I remember correctly, it'll be less than 1,200 square feet total in the front yard setback now with the new proposed addition off the front.
I'm sorry, is that on more square feet or less square feet in the non-conforming area than we approved last time?
Less than what was approved.
Oh, okay.
How did we do, last one we did as a variance, right?
Yes, we did as a variance.
We did as a variance,
submitted-
and I note we did not approve, there was a split vote on the special exception, but it was voted down as a special
But the
exception.
variance was approved.
But the variance was approved.
Right.
So I think we should probably have a hearing
Fine.
on that.
And do it as both, make both arguments or just variance?
It should come as a variance.
That's fine.
I.
No, it's just one's an easier case to make. That's fine. All right. So that might be for February because the homeowners are looking to get started.
All right,
Thank you.
so,
Before we close, Mr. Chairman,
yes.
I want to ask this to the staff, as we're contemplating how we're gonna host these meetings going forward, all the technical issues that we've had in the past, have those been resolved?
Yes, we do an AV check at the end of the day. There are other people that use this room during the day and they change settings that they should not be doing because I'm not going to say who it is, but that was the issue that was occurring, was that there's people in the conference room changing settings that they should not have been, causing issues.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
All right,
We do an AV check before every single meeting.
All right.
At 4:30, but before every single meeting.
all right. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? See everyone next month.